Hey everyone, I'm Diana Davison, advocate for the falsely accused and wrongfully convicted. We are now a year into the launching of #MeToo, a movement which encouraged naming real human beings as perpetrators of violence against women on the basis that all allegations would be automatically believed. This was not a movement for women to share and heal from their stories of abuse or pain. It was intended to have people named so that those people could be fired, socially ostracized, and barred from working again. It's a movement that has resulted in multiple men and some women committing suicide. A movement mostly fueled by privileged white women and journalists willing to publish every allegation without the need for investigation or fact-checking. It's a movement that has taken glee in the destruction of human life on the premise that it's making some women feel better about themselves. At the beginning of this movement, members of the media compiled what was titled the Shitty Media Men List, which resulted in over 70 names of men that the women wished to have thrown out of the writing community. The document clarified that none of the allegations were verified, but highlighted some names in red to indicate those people were accused of multiple accusations of sexual violence towards women. The list was taken off the internet when BuzzFeed published a story about it, but it's since been uploaded to WordPress and possible other locations where it now lives on as a public record. And now, a day before the 1-year statute of limitations expired, one single writer named on the list, Stephen Elliott, has filed a lawsuit against the creator of the list. He's seeking $1.5 million in damages. Stephen Elliott wrote an essay about how he was affected by being named on the list and why he's sure that he can't be guilty of rape. And Elliott has a rather unique situation in that way. As he noted in his essay, when the accusations are anonymous and there's no specific details in the allegations, it's impossible to address and defend against them. Except that Elliott has openly discussed his sexual fetishes in his books, and he does not engage in penetrative sex. Additionally, he's never engaged sexually with any women in his own industry, and they all know it. I found Stephen Elliott's essay in Quillette quite moving, and I think he captured a lot of important aspects of the emotional and physical devastation caused by false allegations. I'll put a link below and I encourage you to read it in full. As we can expect, the essay did not result in any apology or reprieve from the bullying that Stephen was being subjected to, and so he's now launched a defamation suit to clear his name and open up a legal exploration of how these anonymous allegations are doing real, tangible harm. Ruth Spencer reached out to 5 other men from the shit list, potentially more, but she only published comments from 5 men who were angry about Elliott's lawsuit. All 5 men quoted also say that they were falsely accused, and that should not be overlooked. But they felt that everyone on the list should remain silent, even if they were innocent. And that deserves exploration. Having worked with the falsely accused for over 2 years, I want to start out by asking people not to attack these men for being weak. As we all know, most falsely accused people at some point struggle with suicidal thoughts. After a year of being silent, all of these men have probably been praying that the shit list would fade into history and maybe they could just go back to writing again someday. For most people, suing for defamation is not something they can afford or endure. Basically, seeing the shit list back in the news again is re-traumatizing for every man on that list. Now, one of these men bizarrely claimed that Elliott seems to have gone full-blown MRA, meaning men's rights activist. I say that's bizarre because Stephen Elliott's defense is that he enjoys being tied up and sexually tortured by women. I can't think of anything further from the definition of an MRA than that. And it's important. These epithets tossed at people saying or doing anything that challenges the current feminist orthodoxy is used to silence people. And in this case, it's being said by a silenced man to help further silence other victims. The reality is that my doing this video, intended to bring attention to the valid lawsuit brought by Stephen Elliott against these anonymous accusers, will be used to disparage Stephen Elliott because I'm also deemed to be an MRA, despite all evidence that some of the biggest attacks against me and my channel and my business have been launched by MRAs. But it doesn't matter. Facts don't matter to bullies on the internet. They don't bother themselves with things like the truth. There are many reasons why Stephen Elliott is a hero right now for being the only person willing and able to launch this lawsuit. But I'm not going to try to unpack it all in one video because I want people to understand. And that understanding takes attention. It takes time. More to come.